an extremely hard act to follow. Okay, I'm Karen Bruce. I'm a PhD student in the Department of English working in Old English. I am going to read you a selection of poetry from Old English today. I'm going to start by reading another part of Beowulf, and then move on to reading part of another very famous Old English poem, The Wanderer. A great deal of Old English poetry tends to be elegiac in nature. That is, it tends to mourn lost people, lost kingdoms, lost treasures. And both of the extracts I'm reading, I think, typify this trend in Old English poetry. Okay, so as Drew did, I will read the passage first in translation and then in Old English. So, the first piece I'm going to read to you then is the so-called Lay of the Lost Survivor, which is another of the very famous set pieces within Beowulf. You may be familiar that at the end of the text, Beowulf fights and meets his death at the claws and flame of a dragon. And this dragon, as all good dragons do, is sitting upon a hoard of treasure. And the Lay of the Last Survivor is part of the story of how the treasure got there, as the lost survivor of a people gathered all of the gold and treasures of that people together and buried them in a barrow in the earth. And as he buries them, he speaks these lines. Hold now, earth, now that heroes may not, the treasure of princes. From you long ago, good men took it. Death in battle, awful life loss, took every man, all of my people, who gave up this life, who knew all joys. Now I have none who might carry sword, polish the cup, gold-plated vessel. The company is gone. The hardened helmet now must lose its golden plates. The stewards sleep on, who were meant to burnish each battle mask. So too the war coat that withstood in battle the bite of iron across shield clashes. It decays like its warrior. Rusted, the chain shirt cannot follow close by the war leader, far beside heroes. No harp joy, play of songwood, no good hawk sweeps through the hall, nor the swift roan stamps in the courtyard. An evil death has swept away many living men. So I'm now going to read that same passage to you in Old English. Try and follow along in the translation and see if you can match up any of the words. Helt du nu husa, nu halif ne mostan, eola after. What, it's on they, good a beaton, gufdet fornam. Veil bela frekna, fira ye wilchna, leelda minra, thara they this leaf of yaf. Ye soan, sela dram. Na qua swelt weya, otha fail me feta wire. Drink fat deora, duguth ella shelk. Shelsa had a hem, hirsted, golda, fatum befallen. Failmint swearfath, thartha beelda griman buan sheldon. Ye swilcha seo herapat, seo at hilda ye bat. Over border ye brak bisa irina, brosna, after beelna. Ne me beelnan hring, after weefruman wieder feran, helathum behelfa. Nas hapan win, gormans bleobenas, ne god hafok. Yon sail swingeth, ne se swifte mag, birthstead abated. Belo quan hafath fela kina, forth unsended. Okay, so the next passage I want to read to you then is the extract from The Wanderer, and it's often referred to as the famous ubi sunt passage, after the Latin phrase, where are? And you'll see why it has that name when I read you the translation. Then he who has brooded over these noble runes, and who deeply ponders this dark life, wise in his mind, often remembers the many slaughters of the past, and speaks these words. Where has the horse gone? Where the man? Where the giver of gold? Where is the feasting place? And where the pleasures of the hall? I mourn the gleaming cup, the warrior in his corslet, the glory of the prince. How that time has passed away, darkened under the shadow of night, as if it had never been. Where the loved warriors were, there now stands a wall of wondrous height, carved with serpent forms. The savage ash spears, avid for slaughter, have claimed all the warriors, a glorious fate. Storms crash against these rocky slopes, sleet and snow fall and fetter the world. Winter howls, then darkness draws on. The night shadow casts gloom and brings fierce hailstorms from the north to frighten men. Nothing is ever easy in the kingdom of earth. The world beneath the heavens is in the hands of fate. Here possessions are fleeting. Here friends are fleeting. Here man is fleeting. Here kinsman is fleeting. The whole world becomes a wilderness. So again, I'll read you this passage in Old English. Where come me? Where come Mado? Where come Macum Yifa? Where come Simbla Ysetu? Where Sindon Sela Dramas? Ela Bacht Buna? Ela Bien Wea? Ela Theodnis Thrim? Who say of Thrag ye what? Ye nak onder Nichteln? Swahel no ware. Stondeth nu on laster, leer for duguth, eowal, wundrum he, wirmlichem fach, eala sponomon, aska threetha, wacken whale ye fru, wort seal mera, und das standliopu stormas nisa, hrith sender, hrusan bindeth, wintris warmer, don a warm kumuth, Nipeth nicht shua, notham sendeth, Hreo herfera, helethum on andam. El is erfothliche erkonriche, wendeth werde je shaft, welt onder heavenum. Her bith feoch lana, her bith freond lana, her bith mon lana, her bith maid lana, El this eothon yestel edel wertheth. Okay, and for some of you, that passage from The Wanderer may have sounded familiar. It's a passage that Tolkien, in his Lord of the Rings, adapts into a lament for the Rohirrim. Tolkien, of course, as some of you may know, was a really well-known scholar of philology who worked at Oxford University and who focused particularly on the Germanic languages, including Old English. And so he wove in aspects of both the Anglo-Saxon language and culture into his great fantasy epic, The Lord of the Rings. And one of the many places you can see that is in Aragorn's Lament for the Rohirrim. So I will read that to you now. Where now is the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that is blowing? Where is the helm and the hauberk and the bright hair flowing? Where is the hand on the harp string and the red fire glowing? Where is the spring and the harvest and the corn growing? They have passed like rain on the mountain, like a wind in the meadow. The days have gone down in the west, behind the hills into shadow. Who shall gather the smoke of the dead wood burning, or behold the flowing years from the sea returning? Thank you very much.